Hi, today I'm going to show you some Thanksgiving signs. Now the sign for Thanksgiving has two parts. The first part is the sign for turkey. You make two fingers hanging down like the wattle that hangs over the beak of a turkey, and you kind of shake it if you're just doing turkey. For Thanksgiving, you start here and then move it down to your heart. So that's sort of like the food part of Thanksgiving and the heart part of Thanksgiving. And the sign for that second part, that feeling of being thankful, uses two hands like this. You probably know the sign for just thanking a person, but if you do it with two hands, that's sort of that bigger idea of gratitude, thankfulness, being thankful for things. The sign for holiday or celebrate is you take one finger and bend it over like this, like the letter X, and you kind of go around like this, like you've got a little noisemaker that goes zzz, and that sign is for celebrate or holiday or festivity. Also used for like a fair or something like that. So it's used for those things. So you can talk about celebrating or that it's a holiday using that sign. A big part of Thanksgiving is particularly the feasting. So we do one hand like this just to your mouth in a kind of a straight line to mean just eating, like, oh, I'm going to eat a sandwich. But if we do it with two hands, it means eating and eating and eating, or having a big feast. So that's a really fun sign to do. Before we can feast, we're going to do some cooking. So that's like you're flipping your hand back and forth like it's a pancake or a hamburger or something like that a couple times. And that means to cook, just in general. The sign for make is two fists kind of twisting around each other. It always looks to me like you're screwing together a nut and a bolt. So this could be, whenever you use the word for making some kind of food, like you might say, we're going to make some stuffing. So stuffing, you kind of hold onto the turkey and kind of you're stuffing the stuffing inside it. Maybe say, oh, we're going to cook the whole meal, the whole dinner. And also there's a special sign for baking. So you kind of like you're leaning your hand on the top of the oven and sliding something in like that. At Thanksgiving, a lot of things we bake in the oven. Some of the things that we like to eat on Thanksgiving, I've got a few of them here. Here is a potato. And potato is like your hand is a potato and you're poking the back side of it, which if you're baking a potato, you poke it before you put it in the oven. But you can use the same sign for mashed potatoes. I have a pretend ear of corn. And this finger is being like a little tiny ear of corn, and like I'm going to eat the corn off of it. Like that. That's kind of a fun sign to do. And another big one we often have on Thanksgiving is carrots. So you take your fist and put it in the corner of your mouth like you're biting it with your big teeth back there. You can kind of tap it or twist it this way. People do it different ways. So that's carrot. Another thing a lot of people eat is green beans. So you take a letter G, because for green bean, or really just to show the shape of it, and you show it kind of long in midair like that. So that's a green bean or string bean. Or peas, you can take one finger and go boop, 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 boop to show the peas inside the pod. So that's peas. And like with corn, it doesn't matter if you're really eating it on the kernel, and peas, you probably most likely aren't eating them in the pod, but that's the sign showing what they're like in their natural state. Oh, another vegetable we often cook with on Thanksgiving is an onion. So onion is sort of like apple, but it's you take your knuckle and put it in the corner of your eye because onions make you cry when you cut them. This is a sign for cut, like you're cutting off a carrot, cutting slices of it. Another thing we often have is cranberry sauce. If you stick out your pinky and kind of pretend like it's a stem that a berry is growing on, and kind of twist it like you're going to pick the berry, that can be any kind of berry. So you can use it for cranberry. If you needed to be clear about it, you could spell the cran part, but usually if it's Thanksgiving, we're talking about cranberry. And then the sign for sauce is like you're pouring out of a pitcher like that. And you can use that for anything you're pouring on things. So you could say cranberry sauce, even though you don't really pour it, but you can still use that sauce sign. Gravy has a very special sign, which you make the letter G and kind of show the gravy dripping. It's like the meat dripping off of the turkey while it bakes in the oven. So you can do that for gravy. Then probably for a lot of you, the really important part of Thanksgiving is the pies. So you might have seen I just did one slice like this. That means part or some. So you could say like, oh, can I have some potatoes, please? But if you do it one way and the other way, that means pie. And pies are something a lot of families like to eat at Thanksgiving. So we have apple with your knuckle in your cheek for apple pie. And we have pumpkin, which is you take usually your middle finger, but you could do it with your first finger, and thump on the back of your hand, like to see if the pumpkin is ripe. It will make a hollow thumping sound. You could have pumpkin pie. Some people have a lot of different pies, but those are the two really big ones for Thanksgiving. And then I mentioned family. Letter F, like you reach around and hugging your family, is a big important part of Thanksgiving. So a lot of years, a lot of us have a big family gathering. So you could do like a big family to mean all your relatives. But this year, for everyone to be safe, most of us are going to have pretty small gatherings with just our family who lives in our same house. So, but either way, it's a letter F, and you reach around and hug, or a big family for that. So I hope you all have a wonderful Thanksgiving with a really nice celebration with your family and a nice feast of a lot of food that maybe you will help to make. All right, bye-bye. Happy Thanksgiving.